The wintry mess moves out, but the frigid air moves in. How low the temperatures go.
Coming up, a wild wake-up call in Brooklyn after a building explodes. 2 others on fire. So, what caused it? Hey, what's up and welcome back. I'm your girl Kay Ingram and this is News for Now from home for February 4th. And y'all, today, this morning in New York, it was pretty warm. But now we're supposed to get hit with a nasty wintry mix. And then a flash freeze. Now Storm Team 4 has been tracking it all and they're here to break it down.
Hi there, I'm Storm Team 4 meteorologist Maria La Rosa. What a messy day. Still a little bit to go as we head into this evening. Still that winter weather advisory posted for most of our area through the early evening. That's still the possibility of some of that light freezing rain, even some snow. A lot of cold, though, as we get in through tomorrow morning. While we see the clouds begin to break up, temperatures are going to continue to fall. In fact, the winds are picking up, so the wind chills by this evening, teens and single digits, anywhere from 10 to 20 mile per hour winds will keep it that way straight through tomorrow morning. In fact, north and west likely seeing below 0 wind chills through most of the morning. Count on a quick freeze as well as temperatures on the thermometer drop into the teens, about 22 in the city. Any leftover areas that might be on the wet side, any untreated surfaces could be icy, and that includes through tomorrow morning. We do get some sunshine for the afternoon, but it does stay wintry.
All right, up next, investigators in Brooklyn are trying to figure out what caused an early morning explosion that rocked people from their beds. It was caught on surveillance video, causing a huge fire. It broke out Friday morning just after 7 in the morning in Bath Beach. It spread to 2 buildings next door. Neighbors say the building where the explosion happened was vacant, but they say they smelled gas in the area recently. The good news here, no one was seriously hurt. All 3 buildings will need to be demolished. In the Bronx, police are trying to find the 2 men in this video who were involved in a shootout in Throg's Neck. You can see one of the men pull out a gun and fire into the doorway of a business along East Tremont Avenue. This happened just before 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. Police say 2 other men were hit by the gunfire. They say the 2 suspects and 13 others are facing charges. 3 guns were recovered at the scene. All right, we've got word that there is this mysterious odor coming from Fairfield, Connecticut, but crews are having a hard time trying to pinpoint what's causing it. According to people living in the northeast section of Fairfield, the odor surfaced last night, and it kind of smells like natural gas. But experts ruled out a natural gas leak and insist the public is safe.
Most of the time, it's tracked back to some moving source, whether it was a truck that was carrying the mercaptan, that is the odorant in the gas, whether it was a mobile vehicle. Sometimes propane is mistaken for natural gas.
Firefighters say the 911 dispatch center got 50 to 100 calls about the smell last night. Students at New York City schools are seeing a lot more veggies on the lunch line. A new program called Vegan Fridays meant meat and dairy are now off the menu. Instead, students will see things like chickpea salad or cauliflower tacos. Milk will still be available as per federal law, and PB&Js. Mayor Eric Adams, who's a vegan himself, says he wants kids exposed to healthier options.
Doing it on Fridays gives them this opportunity, expand the menu, give kids more access to different types of food.
If they gave you a taco at school and it had cauliflower inside, what do you think about that?
Bad.
Bad? You wouldn't eat it?
The Department of Education says they did a student taste test before approving Vegan Fridays. There will still be peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on hand if students ask. You can get into the spirit of the Winter Olympics in the middle of Times Square. The M Social Times Square Hotel is turning their rooftop bar into a curling rink. The rink's inside a heated tent and is open every day from noon to 10 p.m. The hotel says the rink is for guests and non-guests too.
News 4 celebrates Black History Month. In February 2006, Shawnee Davis raced into the record books as the first African American to win an individual gold medal in the Winter Olympics, icing the competition in the 1,000-meter speed skating event. His victory came 18 years after that of another trailblazer, figure skater Debbie Thomas. She was the first African American to ever medal in the Winter Games when she won bronze in 1988. Shawnee Davis and Debbie Thomas are part of our collective history, and together we are for New York.
Now, people love to talk about how New York City may never get back to its glory days. Well, we're here to tell you that we have proof that this city always comes back. New York Live is going to take us on a tour of the Museum of the City of New York with evidence and receipts. Check it out.
If exploring the city's past, celebrating its present, and imagining its future is your thing, then consider paying a visit to the Museum of the City of New York. I am here today for a little history lesson and to check out their new exhibits. Okay, Whitney, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have a very hard time focusing during this interview.
Oh.
This museum is like eye candy for a New Yorker. I think I said I feel like a kid. I feel like I'm midnight of the museum right now because it is closed.
Thank you. It's a beautiful space. Well, we've been here since 1932. The building is fresh and modern and gorgeous. And I think one thing that we do is we make history really accessible, and we make you understand why it's important to learn about New York's past, because it tells so much about our current day events.
Do you know how many artifacts you have in this museum?
We have 750,000 objects in our collection. There's no way we could ever have them all on view.
We got Oscar the Grouch.
We do. He is sort of your quintessential New Yorker. He's got a wisecrack, he's a little grumpy, but he has a big heart.
Tell me about this exhibit, Whitney.
New York New Music from 1980 to 1986. You had so many different musicians really exploring tons of different musical style. Examples of Madonna from when she first performed at Danceteria, when she was a girl from Minneapolis.
Danceteria, there's the throwback.
We have the Talking Heads performing in Central Park, Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, Blondie with Jean-Michel Basquiat as a DJ in the background. It's just fantastic. This is another exhibit that's permanent, Activist New York. It covers the history of activism going back from 1609. You can see the history of New Yorkers having strong opinions and advocating for change, and that's the only way the city changes.
And you said that, you worked so hard to capture the energy of New York.
Yes.
I gotta say, you nailed it.
Thank you.
And finally, there are people living in an apartment in Newark who say their building's falling apart. Some of them allege that they're living on top of a sinkhole, and now they have to find a new place to live. News 4's Pat Battle is here to take a look at what exactly has gone wrong.
People who live here at 91 Prince Street say they've been complaining about the conditions at this apartment complex for years, but it wasn't until they went to the media that the city finally had the building evacuated and boarded it up. That was on Tuesday. Now, a code enforcement officer told me today that it could be 2 years or it could be tomorrow, but they know there's a danger this building could collapse.
I think about that every day. Like if my kids are asleep or am I asleep, that this building can cave in at any given time.
Because when Nicole looks up at her ceiling, this is what she sees. Cracks and gaps between the wall and the ceiling big enough to put your hand through. Other tenants in this 3-story apartment building say they've seen and felt far worse.
Maybe last year it started. That crack started. And then it really got out of hand. It started cracking all over the bathroom, my bedroom, the living room. I said the floor. Everything started to come apart.
When the city moved in, the 9 families living here had 4 hours to move out. They're staying temporarily at a hotel, but this is no vacation.
I shouldn't have to live like this. Like, it makes no sense, and it's unfair that our children have to go through this.
This resident didn't want to be identified, fearing retribution from the building management, who they say routinely dismiss their complaints as cosmetic issues. The walls and floors, they say, are so unstable in some units, they believe they're living on top of a sinkhole.
Because of the way the building shifts. And as it shifts, the crack, it just cracks more, cracks more, cracks more, cracks more.
You can feel it?
Yeah, you can actually feel it. Yeah, the building starts to rumble.
Look, this is the ceiling. Look at this. You can see through, look. This is insane.
And to make matters worse, rodents are coming in through all the holes in the foundation and the walls.
A mice infestation. My dogs catch mice. Normally that's a cat's job. My dogs catch mice. And then, like, if we put down traps, I'm catching at least 10 of them.
I'm hoping that they can give all the tenants Section 8
and move and let us move someplace else. We don't want to go back to none of their properties. Their properties are no good.
This complex is run by WI Management. It is rent subsidized, Section 8. The company did not return our calls for comment, but has been meeting with city officials who say the company's hired a private architect to try to figure out how to stabilize this building. But the city says nobody's going back in here. The company's going to have to continue to pay for them to stay at that hotel unless and until they're relocated. In Newark, Pat Battle, News 4, New York.
All right, fam, that's all I've got for you for today's show. Thanks for checking in this week, and I'll see you back here next week on News 4 Now. See ya.